At the beginning of the drama, we are introduced to the female lead, Meng Hui. At this moment, she is attending a job interview. Thanks to her excellent communication skills and confident answers, she impresses all the judges and successfully passes the interview. However, shortly afterward, we see her standing alone in a restroom, looking extremely worried. She then calls a woman named Tao. It turns out that Meng Hui had applied for a job as a makeup assistant, but the problem is that she lied a lot during the interview. She claimed that she had studied in Tokyo and even gained professional makeup experience in Hollywood. After hearing this, Tao tells her to come back home immediately. When Meng Hui returns home, we learn something important about her life. Tao is actually her psychiatrist. Meng Hui suffers from a condition that causes her to live with two completely different personalities. One version of Meng Hui is smart, confident, and capable, while her second personality is gentle, innocent, and kind-hearted. Tao comforts her and explains that becoming a makeup artist has always been her dream. Since her timid personality could never achieve that goal on its own, her smart personality stepped in and accomplished it instead. Just then, Meng Hui receives a message informing her that she has officially passed the interview. Surprisingly, instead of becoming happy, she becomes even more worried. That night, Meng Hui secretly creates a special foundation formula. Then the next morning, she carefully gets ready and packs all her makeup supplies because she is about to participate in a makeup competition. Carrying her equipment, she boards a bus. At the same time, we are introduced to the male lead of the drama, Shen. And honestly, Shen is unbelievably stingy. As soon as Meng Hui gets on the bus, Shen asks her to pay his bus fare because he forgot his transportation card. He promises to transfer the money back later through WeChat. Being kind-hearted, Meng Hui pays his fare using coins. But instead of thanking her, Shen immediately starts complaining. He says that he specifically asked her to pay using a card. Confused, Meng Hui asks whether there is any difference. A nearby passenger explains that paying with a card costs 0.18 yuan less. After hearing this, Meng Hui says, "It's only 0.18 yuan. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" Even so, Shen transfers exactly 0.18 yuan to her before walking away. Soon, they both arrive at the company. And this is where we learn that Shen is actually the director of the company. As soon as he enters the office, an employee reports on a foundation they are developing. The goal is to create a foundation capable of covering acne, dark circles, scars, and other imperfections. However, they still haven't succeeded. After hearing this, Shen increases the investment budget and firmly declares that this foundation must be developed no matter what. Later, his assistant Jia informs him that the company's upcoming makeup competition requires 3 judges. Shen immediately tells Jia to arrange 2 judges because he personally plans to become the 3rd one. Jia then reminds him that he has an interview scheduled and suggests that he should change his clothes first. Shen asks what is wrong with his current outfit. Jia bluntly replies that he looks like a Christmas tree. After changing his clothes, Shen returns and all the employees stare at him in surprise. During the interview, Shen is asked why he is so determined to create a foundation capable of hiding scars and imperfections. Although he doesn't reveal the real reason, he simply says that he founded the company for that exact purpose and believes he will succeed one day. Meanwhile, we see Meng Hui participating in the makeup competition. Her makeup skills are so impressive that everyone is amazed. While working on a model named Wei Lei, she even uses a foundation that she personally created to completely cover a mark on his hand. Wei Lei is impressed and asks whether she made the foundation herself. Meng Hui proudly answers yes. Before leaving, however, she suddenly notices something unusual. She tells Wei Lei that his nose seems slightly crooked and advises him to get it checked. After hearing this, Wei Lei says that he likes his natural beauty. However, deep down, he is extremely annoyed. Meanwhile, we see Shen sitting inside a car that belongs to one of his close friends, who also happens to be his doctor. The doctor brings him breakfast and even offers him a new phone. However, Shen refuses to take it and says that his current phone is still working perfectly fine. As Shen leaves, the doctor tells Jiang to keep a close eye on him. From this, we can clearly tell that Shen is also dealing with some kind of personal problem. Back at the makeup competition, everyone is busy preparing for the show. Suddenly, one of the employees accidentally bumps into a table, causing everything on it to fall and break. At that moment, Shen arrives at the scene. The moment Meng Hui sees him, she recognizes him as the guy from the bus. After examining the damage, Shen immediately tells the employee that she will have to pay compensation. The amount comes to nearly 100,000 yuan. Meng Hui is shocked and points out that the bottles were actually empty. But Shen doesn't listen and simply walks away. As Meng Hui looks through the broken items, she notices a loose screw on the floor. Suddenly, she remembers that during her interview day, her clothes got caught on that table and loosened the screw. Realizing this, she becomes convinced that the accident was indirectly exactly her fault. Feeling guilty, she decides to take responsibility and follows Shen. Eventually, she finds him at a restaurant. Shen is surprised and asks how she knew he would be there. Without thinking, Meng Hui honestly blurts out that she checked all the nearby restaurants and chose this one because it looked like the cheapest option. Soon, the two of them decide to eat together. While getting some juice, Meng Hui accidentally spills a small amount onto another customer. The man immediately starts yelling and prepares to throw juice at her. But before he can do so, Shen suddenly steps in front of Meng Hui. As a result, the entire glass splashes onto Shen instead. Shen calmly turns toward the man and asks, "Do you know how much my clothes cost? You're going to have to pay for them." The man instantly realizes that Shen's outfit is expensive and quickly runs away. Afterward, Shen and Meng Hui sit down to eat together. Meng Hui originally came there because she wanted to compensate for the broken cosmetic bottles. Shen repeatedly tells her that she doesn't need to take responsibility for something that wasn't her fault. However, Meng Hui refuses to listen. Eventually, Shen says, "You probably think I'm extremely stingy, don't you?" But Meng Hui shakes her head and says that everyone has their own struggles. She believes that there must be something in his life that he desperately wants to achieve. After hearing that, Shen starts thinking about his dream of creating the perfect foundation. Touched by her words, Shen finally tells Meng Hui that she no longer has to pay for the damaged bottles. However, there is one condition. She must take responsibility for cleaning his stained clothes. Meanwhile, the employee who accidentally knocked over the table is sitting near the broken cosmetics and crying. Just then, Jiang arrives and informs her that she won't have to pay for the damages anymore. The employee is overjoyed and immediately starts imagining that Shen must secretly like her. Later, she even tells Meng Hui about this theory. Meng Hui simply laughs after hearing it. On the other side, Wei Lei meets with Shen. From their conversation, we learn that the two of them used to be in a relationship. However, they broke up 3 years ago. Shen can also tell exactly why Wei Lei is suddenly trying to reconnect with him. Wei Lei wants to become the spokesperson for Shen's company. Unfortunately, Shen has absolutely no interest in making that happen. In fact, Shen bluntly says that if his company ever needs a spokesperson, he would rather choose someone like Meng Hui. According to Shen, Meng Hui is a genuinely good person who has never undergone plastic surgery. Meanwhile, Wei Lei has altered almost his entire appearance through cosmetic procedures. Naturally, hearing this comparison makes Wei Lei furious. After Shen leaves, Wei Lei immediately goes to find Meng Hui. He shows her application file and reveals that he already knows she lied during her interview. Then he threatens to tell Shen the truth. Meng Hui desperately tries to stop him, but Wei Lei refuses to listen. And at that very moment, Meng Hui's smart and confident personality suddenly takes over. A short while later, Wei Lei goes directly to Shen and reveals everything he knows about Meng Hui's lies. However, before Wei Lei can do any serious damage, Meng Hui suddenly arrives in her smart and confident personality. The moment Shen sees this completely different side of her, he is left staring in shock. Meng Hui then shows them one of her social media accounts. Through that account, they discover that she had previously promoted a lipstick brand, and shortly after her advertisement was released, the entire lipstick stock sold out. After seeing those results, the company immediately becomes interested in recruiting her. Naturally, Wei Lei completely loses his temper. He starts shouting that Meng Hui lied during her interview and never should have been hired. However, nobody pays attention to his complaints. Instead, they escort him out of the room. After that, Meng Hui notices a small pimple on Shen's face and uses her self-made foundation to cover it perfectly. Then, in a rather bold way, she even explains to Shen that Wei Lei is nothing more than his past, while she is his present. Later that night, the two of them travel home together by bus. During the ride, Meng Hui secretly takes a photo with Shen and uploads it to her social media account. The next day, we see Meng Hui visiting Dr. Tao again. At the moment, she is still in her smart and confident personality. She excitedly tells Tao that she likes Shen, and that Shen probably likes her too. She goes on to explain that although Shen appears cold and distant on the outside, he actually treats her very well. After saying all of that, Meng Hui leaves. A little later, Tao's assistant expresses concern. She points out that Meng Hui's imaginary world seems to be growing larger every day. However, Tao has a different perspective. She explains that Meng Hui's dream is to become a successful beauty blogger, so they need to help her achieve that goal. And since her second dream dream is to win Shen's heart, they will have to help with that as well. Soon afterward, Meng Hui uploads a promotional lipstick video for Shen's company. Later, we see Shen and Meng Hui together inside the makeup room. Meng Hui is doing Shen's makeup, and while working, she gradually gets closer and closer to him. The atmosphere between them becomes surprisingly intimate. Unfortunately, all of this is being watched through the cameras by Wei Lei, and needless to say, he absolutely hates every second of it. Unable to tolerate it any longer, Wei Lei enters the makeup room himself in an attempt to steal Shen's attention. But Meng Hui effortlessly ruins all of his plans. Meanwhile, Shen and several employees are sitting together watching the lipstick promotion video that Meng Hui created. The lipstick she advertised becomes completely sold out in a very short amount of time. After hearing this incredible news, Shen immediately tells his employees to give Meng Hui another lipstick, so she can make another promotional video. Following his instructions, Jiang and another employee deliver the lipstick to Meng Hui. When she learns that the gift came directly from Shen, she becomes incredibly excited. As a result, she creates another video. And during the recording, she even says, "I love you," to Shen. Jiang actually tries to warn Shen about the content of the video before it gets uploaded. However, Shen doesn't bother listening and simply orders them to publish it immediately. After the video goes online, viewers become extremely excited, and once again, the lipstick stock sells out within a very short period of time. Only afterward does Shen finally watch the video himself. The moment he hears Meng Hui confessing her love, he becomes furious and immediately starts scolding Jiang and the rest of the employees. Jiang quickly reminds Shen that he actually tried to warn him beforehand, but Shen refused to listen. The following morning, when Meng Hui wakes up, her personality switches back to her gentle and innocent side. When she sees the video she uploaded, she becomes horrified and starts worrying about what she has done. Things only get worse after she arrives at the office. As soon as Shen sees her, he scolds her harshly. Meng Hui wants to explain the truth about her condition. She tries to tell him that she suffers from a personality disorder and sometimes becomes a completely different person. Unfortunately, Shen doesn't believe a single word she says. Because of this, Meng Hui becomes emotionally overwhelmed and eventually breaks down in tears. Thankfully, Tao arrives and comforts her. She reassures Meng Hui that everything will be fine and promises to find a solution. Afterward, Tao starts investigating Shen. While looking through his profile, she eventually comes across Jiang's profile as well. After gathering some information, Tao decides that Jiang will become her next target. The following day, she invites Jiang to meet with her and begins discussing various psychological issues with him. As Dr. Tao continues talking, Jiang becomes more and more frightened. Eventually, he asks her how those problems can be treated. Dr. Tao calmly reassures him and says that he doesn't need to worry because she can help him recover. However, there is one condition. He must do exactly as she says. This is when Dr. Tao finally reveals the truth about Meng Hui's personality disorder. Not long afterward, the two of them meet Shen as well. This time, Dr. Tao decides to tell him the entire truth about Meng Hui's condition. After hearing everything, Shen doesn't say a single word. Instead, he simply gets up and leaves. Later, we see him sitting alone, deeply lost in thought. After reflecting on everything he learned, he decides to go and see Meng Hui. At that moment, Meng Hui is busy cleaning something. Without saying much, Shen walks over and starts helping her. While they are working together, several company employees suddenly arrive. Seeing the two of them alone, the employees tell them to go outside and talk while they handle the work themselves. So, Shen and Meng Hui leave and sit together somewhere quiet. There, Shen tells her that he now knows the entire truth about her condition. Because of that, he says he can't really punish her for the mistakes she made before. Meng Hui immediately thanks him. She also asks him to keep her condition a secret, and explains that whenever her gentle personality can accomplish something, her smart and confident personality takes care of it instead. Shen then asks why she wants to become a makeup artist so badly. Meng Hui smiles and replies that she wants everyone to look beautiful. Then she asks him the same question. Why did he start a cosmetics company? Shen gives a surprisingly emotional answer. He says that he only wants to make one particular person beautiful. A little later, we see Shen sitting alone in his office, and for the first time, he begins crying. At this point, the drama shows us a flashback from his childhood. Back then, Shen's mother was seriously ill. One day, two people came to visit her, demanding money for plastic surgery expenses. His mother sat sadly explained that their family was already struggling financially and that she had no way to pay such a large amount. The two visitors then told young Shen that he should tell his mother the truth about what had happened. However, the little boy couldn't bring himself to do it. It turns out that when Shen was a child, he was trying to scare a group of boys. But during the incident, a nearby girl was accidentally injured and her cheek was cut. Back in the present, Meng Hui notices that nobody is inside the makeup room. Taking advantage of the privacy, she begins removing her makeup. And once all the makeup is gone, we finally discover that she has a large scar on her cheek. This immediately makes us wonder whether she might actually be the same girl who was injured because of Shen when they were children. Unfortunately, Wei Lei sees the scar. He instantly threatens to tell Shen about it. No matter how much Meng Hui begs him not to, Wei Lei refuses to listen. As a result, Meng Hui becomes emotionally distressed once again, and before long, her smart and confident personality takes over. Meanwhile, Wei Lei goes directly to Shen and reveals everything. However, Shen misunderstands the situation. He assumes that Wei Lei is talking about Meng Hui's personality disorder rather than the scar on her face. Because of that, Shen casually tells him that he already knows all about it and warns Wei Lei to keep it a secret. In exchange, Shen even offers him a place in the competition's top 5 rankings. Curious, Wei Lei asks whether Shen likes Meng Hui so much that he's willing to accept even such a complicated condition, but Shen doesn't answer the question. Later, we see Shen sitting with several employees. Suddenly, Meng Hui arrives once again in her smart and confident personality. The moment she enters, she walks straight over to Shen and hugs him. Then, in front of everyone, she even calls him honey. The employees sitting nearby are completely stunned. A moment later, Meng Hui offers Shen some dessert. The employees quickly point out that their boss never likes sweet food. But to everyone's shock, Shen accepts the dessert directly from her and eats it without hesitation. The employees can do nothing but stare in disbelief. Shen then asks Meng Hui whether she has any work to do. Without even thinking, she casually replies that she has absolutely nothing to do. The moment Shen hears that answer, an idea immediately comes to his mind. The moment Shen looks toward his employees, they immediately understand what he is trying to say. So they quickly come up with a task for Meng Hui and send her away. As soon as Meng Hui leaves, the employees start teasing Shen. They jokingly repeat, "Of course, you're just friends." Earlier, Shen had insisted that he and Meng Hui were nothing more than friends. Later, Shen and Meng Hui go to a restaurant for lunch. While there, Shen excuses himself by saying that he needs to use the restroom. However, he is actually going to meet Dr. Tao. As it turns out, Dr. Tao and Jiang are secretly hiding in another part of the restaurant. Shen immediately asks Dr. Tao what he is supposed to do next. He explains that Meng Hui has started treating him like her actual boyfriend. Dr. Tao tells him that he needs to fulfill Meng Hui's wishes. Otherwise, it will become much harder to help her recover. At first, Shen refuses. However, after some persuasion, he finally agrees. Just then, Shen notices a waiter walking toward Meng Hui with a menu. The moment he sees that, he practically sprints across the restaurant. Before the waiter can hand over the menu, Shen grabs it himself and immediately orders the cheapest item available. Watching all of this, Dr. Tao becomes completely confused. She turns to Jiang and asks why Shen is so unbelievably stingy. Unfortunately, Jiang doesn't know the answer either. That evening, we see Shen and Meng Hui at an amusement park. Meanwhile, Dr. Tao and Jiang are secretly following them from a distance. Meng Hui wants to ride the Ferris wheel. However, when it's time to buy tickets, Shen's stingy personality strikes once again. Instead of purchasing 2 tickets, he only buys 1, and because of that, they never get to ride the Ferris wheel at all. Afterward, they stop near one of those claw machines filled with stuffed toys. Meng Hui excitedly tells Shen that he has to win one of the toys for her. Shen tries again and again but fails every single attempt. Seeing his disappointment, Meng Hui comforts him and says that it's okay, because at least they tried. Meanwhile, Dr. Tao and Jiang continue observing the couple from afar. Just then, Jiang receives a text message from Shen. The message instructs him to arrange 2 bicycles for them. Following the order, Jiang quickly finds 2 bikes and delivers them. At one point, Meng Hui even tries to kiss Shen, but Shen immediately pulls away. For him, all of this is simply part of an act and nothing more. Not long afterward, Shen uses work as an excuse and leaves. The next morning, Meng Hui wants to have breakfast with Shen. Unfortunately, Shen tells her that he has an important meeting and doesn't have time. Feeling disappointed, Meng Hui later talks to Dr. Tao about it. She admits that she is starting to think Shen doesn't actually like her that much. She wanted wanted to have breakfast with him and watch fireworks together, but it seems like his work and money are always more important. Later, Jiang passes this information on to Shen. That evening, Shen invites Meng Hui to the rooftop and promises to show her fireworks. Naturally, Meng Hui becomes excited. However, because this is Shen we're talking about, things don't go exactly as expected. Instead of buying actual fireworks, Shen lights a single sparkler and presents it to her as if it were a grand fireworks display. Even so, Meng Hui becomes slightly annoyed because Shen still refuses to stop being cheap, even during a romantic moment. That night, as Shen tries to fall asleep, another childhood memory resurfaces. In the flashback, young Shen tells his mother that he wants a new school bag. Sadly, his mother explains that Shen's father no longer wants her, and that she is seriously ill. Because of their financial situation, she simply cannot afford it. Later at school, a little girl comes and sits beside him. Even though Shen tells her not to, she happily shares her food with him anyway, and with that, the story returns to the present. Late that night, Shen calls his doctor. He admits that he still thinks about that little girl from his childhood because he never got the chance to apologize to her. His doctor tries to comfort him and says that sooner or later, he will find that girl again. The next day, Shen arrives at the makeup room and sees Meng Hui there. However, things have become awkward between them. Neither of them says anything. In fact, they keep avoiding each other everywhere they go. Later, while Shen is heading home with Jiang and his doctor friend, the doctor points out something interesting. He says that there must be something special about Meng Hui because Shen has been thinking about her far more than he realizes. The following morning, Shen wakes up and sees a news report. The report shows several reporters questioning Meng Hui about her relationship with him. Unable to answer properly, she becomes flustered. Then the reporters ask her about the company's special foundation and whether it can really cover scars. Without thinking, Meng Hui replies that no such foundation has ever existed and probably never will. The moment Shen sees this interview, he becomes furious. After arriving at the office, he harshly confronts Meng Hui. He insists that he will create that foundation no matter what. Then he says something even more hurtful. He explains that he originally wanted to help her because of her condition, but lately her behavior has become impossible for him to tolerate. As a result, he says that whatever relationship they had is over. In other words, he is breaking up with her. Later that day, Shen attends the competition venue, where Weilei comes to meet him. While talking, Shen notices that the mark on Weilei's hand is completely gone. When he asks about it, Weilei reveals that Meng Hui covered it using a foundation she created herself. The moment Shen hears that, everything suddenly clicks. He immediately rushes to find Meng Hui. As soon as he sees her, he runs over, hugs her tightly, and even calls her darling. Of course, he isn't doing this because of love. The real reason is that he has realized Meng Hui possesses the formula for the exact foundation he has been trying to create for years. Naturally, Shen shares this discovery with Jiang and his doctor friend. Now he has a new goal. He wants to help Meng Hui recover as quickly as possible and obtain the foundation formula from her. The next day, Shen orders Jiang to book an expensive hotel. He also asks him to find out all of Meng Hui's likes and preferences from Dr. Tao. After making all the preparations, Shen takes Meng Hui out. He treats her to her favorite foods, buys her gifts, and showers her with attention. Later that night, she finally gets to watch a proper fireworks show. Meng Hui is incredibly happy because she believes Shen arranged everything specifically for her. However, that happiness doesn't last long. As the fireworks light up the sky, another couple's names suddenly appear among the displays. The moment Meng Hui sees that, she realizes the fireworks were never meant for her at all. Instantly, her mood changes. Feeling hurt, she tells Shen that she wants to go home. Then she nervously suggests something even bolder. She asks what would happen if they spent the night together. She says it doesn't even have to be in an expensive hotel, but Shen immediately rejects the idea. At that moment, Meng Hui finally understands the truth. All of these romantic arrangements were probably organized by Jiang, not Shen. And more importantly, Shen doesn't actually like her the way she hoped. After hearing everything, Dr. Tao tries her best to comfort Meng Hui. Meanwhile, Shen's doctor gives him some advice. He tells Shen that instead of pretending, he should seriously consider having a real relationship with Meng Hui. The following day, Weilei decides that he wants to teach Meng Hui a lesson. So when nobody is inside the makeup room, he secretly spreads glue all over her chair. A little later, Meng Hui unknowingly sits down and soon discovers that she can't get up. Meanwhile, Weilei is happily leaving the room, feeling proud of his prank. However, karma strikes almost immediately. As he walks away, his foot accidentally hits a camera stand. The heavy camera begins falling directly toward him. Seeing the danger, Meng Hui somehow frees herself and rushes over to save him. At that exact moment, Shen and several employees arrive. When Shen sees the camera stand in Meng Hui's hands, he immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion and assumes that she must have done something to Wei Lei. As a result, he starts scolding her and says a lot of hurtful things. Later, Shen visits Wei Lei at the hospital and asks him directly whether Meng Hui was responsible. To Shen's surprise, Wei Lei immediately denies it and explains that Meng Hui had absolutely nothing to do with what happened. After hearing the truth, Shen feels terrible, so he follows Dr. Su's advice and sincerely apologizes to Meng Hui. However, Meng Hui has already been deeply hurt. She tells him that this time they should really break up for good. According to her, the real issue is that Shen constantly hides things from her and never truly trusts her. And honestly, Shen has no answer to that accusation. So in the end, he quietly agrees to the breakup. After returning home, another childhood flashback appears. We learn that young Meng Hui was always by Shen's side and even gave him one of her old school bags because she knew he couldn't afford a new one. Thinking about these memories only makes Shen cry even more. The next day, Meng Hui has to replace Wei Lei during the competition show. Everything goes smoothly until she removes her makeup on stage. The moment she does, the scar on her cheek becomes visible to everyone. Seeing that scar, Shen is completely shocked. At the same time, manager Xu secretly tells the show's director to keep all the cameras focused on Meng Hui. Unfortunately, Shen overhears the conversation. Without hesitation, he rushes onto the stage, hugs Meng Hui, and orders the production team to stop the live broadcast. When the director asks who will pay the penalty, Shen boldly replies that he will personally pay every cent. Afterward, Shen takes Meng Hui home. A little later, Dr. Su comes to visit him. From their conversation, we finally learn the truth. The main reason Shen created his cosmetics company was to find a way to hide the scar on Meng Hui's face. Dr. Su then asks what he plans to do now. Shen smiles and says that since Meng Hui likes him, he wants to become her real boyfriend this time. The next morning, Meng Hui wakes up and discovers that her room is filled with all of her favorite things. Then she notices something unexpected. Shen is sleeping on the floor right beside her bed. The first thing he tells her is that he genuinely wants to become her boyfriend. But Meng Hui refuses. She explains that because of her disorder, it was her other personality that liked him, not necessarily her real self. Later, she visits Dr. Tao and asks what exactly her smart personality did while she wasn't in control. Dr. Tao doesn't reveal too much, and after checking her social media posts, Meng Hui quickly deletes them. Meanwhile, Shen meets with Dr. Su and asks him to find a way to remove the scar from Meng Hui's face. After examining it, Dr. Su realizes that treating it will be extremely difficult. According to him, there is only one person capable of fixing it properly, Dr. Smith. The moment Shen hears that, he says that even if convincing Dr. Smith costs him every penny he owns, he is willing to do it. The following day, Meng Hui arrives at the office and announces that she wants to resign. However, nobody wants her to leave. At the same time, Shen starts sending her expensive gifts. Instead of being happy, Meng Hui becomes even angrier. She assumes that Shen is only being nice because he wants the formula for her special foundation. Because of that, she goes straight to his office and finally tells him the truth. She explains that she doesn't actually possess any secret formula. The foundation only worked because she mixed 8 different foundations together to temporarily hide her scar. After hearing this, Shen tells her that the formula doesn't matter anymore. Whether it exists or not, he genuinely wants to be her boyfriend. But Meng Hui refuses to believe him. Finally, realizing that he can't convince her right now, Shen changes his approach. He says, "All right then, if you don't want us to be a couple, let's at least start as friends." Honestly, Meng Hui doesn't really have a reason to refuse, so she agrees. However, from that day onward, whenever anyone mentions Shen's name, Meng Hui immediately tries to avoid the conversation. The next day, Meng Hui unexpectedly shows up at Shen's house with a few gifts. While Shen is preparing tea, she starts exploring the house. As she walks around, she notices a curtain hanging in one corner. Curious, she pulls it aside. To her surprise, the entire wall behind it is covered with donation certificates. Only then does she finally realize the truth. Yes, Shen is extremely stingy when it comes to himself, but most of the money he saves is donated to orphanages and charities. Afterward, the two sit together and drink tea. During their conversation, Meng Hui sincerely tells him that getting to know the real him has made her very happy. The following day, some employees begin speaking badly about Shen behind his back. This time, however, Meng Hui immediately defends him. Later, she sends Shen a message message asking whether he is free that evening. If he is, she would like to have dinner together. Shen happily agrees. Unfortunately, during an important meeting, he is forced to cancel. Surprisingly, Meng Hui doesn't get upset at all. The next day, Dr. Su comes to see Shen with good news. He reveals that they have finally secured an appointment with the famous Dr. Smith. Naturally, he tells Shen to inform Meng Hui. That same day, a woman visits Shen's company and starts criticizing the products. Meng Hui happens to be nearby. Since she has personally used them, she steps in and defends the company. At that exact moment, Shen arrives and immediately takes Meng Hui's side. Later, Shen takes Meng Hui to an expensive restaurant for dinner. Wanting to save money, Meng Hui orders one of the cheaper dishes, but Shen immediately tells the waiter to bring the most expensive items on the menu instead. That evening, the restaurant is holding a lucky draw, and amazingly, Meng Hui wins. The prize turns out to be an appointment card with the world-famous Dr. Smith. Of course, this isn't a coincidence at all. Everything has been secretly arranged by Shen. Excitedly, Meng Hui says she will definitely use the appointment. The next day, Meng Hui takes leave from work. Meanwhile, Shen and Dr. Su are already at the hospital. Everything has been prepared for Meng Hui's surgery. Soon, the operation is completed. Later, when Dr. Su enters the recovery room, he freezes in shock. Sitting there isn't Meng Hui, it's Wei Lei. Confused, Dr. Su immediately calls Shen and tells him everything. Naturally, Shen is stunned. After learning what happened, he repeatedly tries to call Meng Hui, but she refuses to answer. Eventually, Shen finds her. Later, the two travel together on a bus. During the ride, the scarf covering Meng Hui's face accidentally slips off. Instantly, the passengers notice the scar on her cheek and begin whispering. Unable to tolerate it any longer, Shen calls Jiang and tells him to bring the car. Soon afterward, they continue their journey by car instead. At this moment, another childhood flashback appears. We see that young Meng Hui once suffered from chickenpox, and all the other children avoided her. But Shen was different. He was the only child willing to sit beside her. Back then, Meng Hui told him that whenever she felt sad, she always came to a certain place. And as the flashback ends, we realize that Shen and Meng Hui are currently sitting in that exact same spot. Meng Hui looks at Shen and says that she knows he truly likes her. She admits that she originally thought she would only confess her feelings after the scar on her face was completely gone. But after thinking about it carefully, she has realized something important. The way she looks has nothing to do with whether someone deserves to be loved. As Shen listens to her words, his eyes begin to fill with tears. Then he finally asks whether they can truly be together. Moments later, the two embrace each other, officially becoming a couple. Meanwhile, Jiang goes out to meet some of his friends. Unfortunately for him, the moment he arrives, his friends immediately start teasing him. Just then, Dr. Tao suddenly appears. Without hesitation, she tells everyone that she is Jiang's girlfriend. Hearing that, all of Jiang's friends are completely shocked. A little later, we return to the competition taking place at Shen's company. After recovering from surgery, Wei Lei has rejoined the contest, and this time he actually wins. Surprisingly, during his victory speech, he gives all the credit to Meng Hui. Afterward, he removes his winner's crown and places it directly on Meng Hui's head. Then he tells her that from now on, he wants them to be friends. At that exact moment, Shen walks in. The first thing he asks is why Wei Lei is standing so close to Meng Hui. Before long, the two men begin arguing over her, and to Shen's disappointment, Meng Hui chooses to go to dinner with Wei Lei. The next day, Director Shu discussing an important business meeting with Shen. However, Shen isn't paying attention at all. Instead, he is busy thinking about taking Meng Hui on a date that Saturday. Director Shu quickly notices this and immediately informs him that he cannot disappear on Saturday because an important meeting has already been scheduled. After Director Shu leaves, Shen suddenly comes up with an idea. He tells Jiang that if he has to attend the meeting, then maybe he can simply bring Meng Hui with him. The following day, Shen attends the business meeting at a restaurant along with several employees, and as planned, Meng Hui comes as well. Soon, it is time to order food. Everyone knows exactly how stingy Shen usually is. To everyone's surprise, Shen tells them to order whatever they want because he will personally pay the bill. Naturally, all of the employees are shocked. After the meeting ends, Shen offers to drive Meng Hui home. Before she gets out of the car, Shen even kisses her. Later, he accompanies her to her house. However, while there, he discovers something unexpected. The little girl he has been searching for all these years is apparently not Meng Hui. The moment he learns this, he becomes completely confused. Afterward, Shen goes directly to meet Dr. Su and tells him everything. Dr. Su asks him a very simple question. Do you actually love Meng Hui? Shen honestly admits that he doesn't know. He says that Meng Hui is an amazing person, but he keeps wondering what will happen if the girl from his childhood suddenly appears one day. The next day, Shen starts avoiding Meng Hui again. While leaving work, Director Shu approaches him. She informs him that there will be a cocktail party the following evening and that he must attend. That night, Meng Hui sends several text messages to Shen. Even though he reads every single one, he never replies. Meng Hui assumes that he is simply busy with work. Before ending the conversation, she tells him to wear something green to the party. The next day, Meng Hui arrives at an event wearing a beautiful gown exactly as Director Shu instructed. Unfortunately, Director Shu only did that to embarrass her in front of everyone. When guests ask who she is, Director Shu proudly announces that Meng Hui is Shen's girlfriend. As everyone stares at her, Meng Hui slowly starts having a panic attack. Even so, she forces herself to stay calm and politely talks with the guests. A short while later, Shen arrives wearing a green sut, and together they look perfect. However, Shen suddenly tells Meng Hui that she should never attend his workplace or business events without informing him first. Hurt by his words, Meng Hui quietly leaves. Back at home, she tells Dr. Tao everything. Coincidentally, Wei Lei is there as well. After hearing the story, he suggests that they get revenge on Director Shu together. Not long afterward, Meng Hui confronts Director Shu. As expected, Director Shu immediately starts insulting her, and even claims that she and Shen are the perfect match. Just then, Wei Lei steps in and points out that if Director Shu is so perfect, then why is Shen's company losing money under her management? Meanwhile, Director Su becomes furious and reports everything to Shen. When Shen hears about it, he gets angry as well and impulsively sends Meng Hui a breakup message. But the moment Meng Hui sees the word breakup, her condition worsens again, and her smart, confident personality takes over. The next day, Meng Hui arrives at the office and confidently announces that she is now the boss of the company. When Shen sees her behavior, he immediately realizes what has happened. Instead of arguing, he tells everyone that Meng Hui is also one of the bosses of the company. After that, Shen, Meng Hui, and Jiang visit Dr. Tao. There, Meng Hui hilariously claims that today's patient is actually Shen because he never understands other people's feelings. Later, Dr. Tao privately asks Shen what he plans to do. Shen replies that if a breakup text caused this situation, then he will take responsibility until Meng Hui gets better. Later, Shen takes Meng Hui home, but she doesn't even recognize her own house anymore and insists that she couldn't possibly live in such a small place. Having no other choice, Shen arranges a luxury apartment for her. Unfortunately, Meng Hui constantly finds ways to get closer to him, while Shen desperately tries changing the subject whenever she becomes too bold. From that point on, Meng Hui fully believes she is the company's boss. She starts making decisions on her own, which drives Director Su crazy. However, Shen protects her and even sends Director Su on a 3-day vacation. That night, Shen asks Meng Hui why she fell in love with him. Meng Hui admits that she originally disliked him, but changed her mind after seeing all the donation certificates in his house. Hearing this, Shen confesses that he once hurt a little girl and never found her again. Meng Hui smiles and says that if she were that girl, she would forgive him after seeing the person he has become today. Her words leave a deep impression on him. Meanwhile, Wei Lei continues visiting the hospital because she has developed feelings for Dr. Su, although he rarely pays much attention to her. Soon, the company prepares for a major product launch conference. Everyone expects Shen to attend, but instead he spends the day searching for the little girl from his childhood. Back at the company, Director Su secretly replaces Meng Hui's speech file. As a result, when Meng Hui steps onto the stage, she starts reading incorrect information. Reporters quickly notice and bombard her with difficult questions. At that exact moment, Shen finally arrives. But before he can help, Meng Hui panics and falls on stage in front of everyone. The conference becomes a complete disaster, causing huge losses for the company. Later, Shen tries to see Meng Hui, but Dr. Tao refuses to let him. Eventually, Shen admits to Dr. Su that leaving Meng Hui alone was a huge mistake. For the first time, he finally accepts the truth. He has fallen in love with her. On the other hand, Meng Hui believes she is not the most important person in Shen's life because he is still searching for another girl. Convinced that Shen doesn't truly love love her, she sends him an apology message and ignores all of his calls. Meanwhile, Shen's company falls into serious trouble. Investors begin withdrawing their money and reporters start surrounding him with questions. At the same time, Meng Hui decides to do something unexpected. She starts a live stream and removes all of her makeup in front of thousands of viewers, revealing the large scar on her cheek. Then, she applies Shen's company's foundation over it. To everyone's surprise, the scar becomes almost invisible. The live stream instantly goes viral. Sales skyrocket, and Shen's company begins recovering from its losses. When Shen watches the live stream, he becomes emotional. He never imagined that Meng Hui would publicly reveal her biggest insecurity just to save his company. Not long afterward, Shen and Meng Hui finally meet again. Shen apologizes and takes full responsibility for everything that happened. However, Meng Hui insists that she is not the girl he has been searching for and believes they should break up. Shen immediately refuses. He tells her that he doesn't want to break up at all. Then, before she can say anything else, he pulls her closer and kisses her. Just like that, their misunderstanding finally disappears. Meanwhile, Jiang and Dr. Tao begin growing closer, while Wei Lei and Dr. Su also start developing romantic feelings for each other. Later, Dr. Su asks Shen what he would do if the childhood girl suddenly appeared. Shen replies that he would apologize and give her anything she wanted, but not his heart, because his heart already belongs to Meng Hui. That night, Director Su tries once again to get close to Shen by pretending to be drunk and asking for his help. Unfortunately for her, Meng Hui hears everything through a video call and immediately announces that she will arrive within 20 minutes. Realizing her plan has failed, Director Su leaves in embarrassment. Soon afterward, Shen's company launches a new campaign centered around Meng Hui. Naturally, Director Su becomes even more jealous. No matter how many problems she creates, Shen always protects Meng Hui. Eventually, Shen asks Meng Hui to move into his house so he can take care of her every day. Meng Hui agrees, and the two begin living together. However, Director Su still refuses to give up. After overhearing Meng Hui discussing Director Su's feelings for Shen, Shen directly asks Director Su whether she likes him. Caught off guard, she immediately denies it and leaves. Meanwhile, Will finally confesses his feelings to Dr. Su, but Dr. Su remains silent. Later, Shen's father arrives with photos of potential brides and demands that Shen choose one. Shen firmly refuses, declaring that Meng Hui is the only woman he loves. Even when his father secretly offers Meng Hui a huge amount of money to leave Shen, she refuses and later donates the entire amount to an orphanage in the company's name, leaving his father completely shocked. Around the same time, Shen becomes interested in a girl with a scar on her cheek. During her interview, she tells stories that closely resemble Shen's childhood memories. Believing she might be the girl he has been searching for, Shen hires her as Jiang's assistant. Meanwhile, Meng Hui gives Shen a sample of her special foundation for research purposes. At the office, the scar-faced girl constantly acts like a victim to gain Shen's sympathy. She tells emotional stories about her scar and how she hopes someone will love her for who she is. Her words remind Shen of the childhood girl, causing him to feel increasingly sympathetic toward her. Unfortunately, the girl continues manipulating him and constantly finds excuses to stay close. Even after Shen tells her he already has a girlfriend, she keeps acting lonely and helpless. As expected, Shen feels sorry for her once again and eventually ends up having dinner with her. Meanwhile, Shen's stepmother meets Meng Hui privately and encourages her to help reconcile Shen with his father. At first, Meng Hui refuses, but after hearing how much it could help Shen and his company, she begins considering the idea. Later, the scar-faced girl once again manipulates Shen into feeling sorry for her. However, before anything can happen, Shen receives an urgent call saying that Meng Hui is suffering from another panic attack. The moment Shen hears that, he forgets everything else and rushes to her side. When he arrives, Meng Hui immediately puts her new plan into action. She suddenly starts calling him her brother instead of her boyfriend. Although Shen quickly realizes something strange is going on, he plays along and agrees. Afterward, Shen brings Meng Hui back home. Soon afterward, Shen's stepmother invited both Shen and Meng Hui to dinner at Shen's father's house. What happened next was honestly hilarious. Meng Hui practically dragged Shen there by the ear. When they arrived, Shen stubbornly refused to call his father Dad. Every time he avoided saying it, Meng Hui immediately hit him on the head. Eventually, Shen gave in and finally called his father Dad. After dinner, Shen and Meng Hui planned to leave, but Shen's stepmother insisted they stay the night. Meng Hui immediately agreed, leaving Shen with no choice. By the way, Meng Hui had never actually suffered a panic attack that day. The whole thing had been part of the plan she created created with Shen's stepmother. Although Shen's father was happy his son had finally returned home, he still wasn't thrilled about Meng Hui. Fortunately, Shen's stepmother convinced him that Shen only came back because of her, so he reluctantly agreed not to create any more trouble. The next day, Shen told Dr. Su about the new scar-faced girl. After listening, Dr. Su questioned how Shen could be so sure she was the childhood girl he had been searching for. However, Shen insisted he was certain because she knew details about his school and the scar incident. Dr. Su then asked whether Shen had read the letter he gave him earlier. Shen awkwardly admitted he had forgotten. Dr. Su advised him to visit his old school and verify the truth, but Shen ignored the advice. Later, we learn an important truth. Director Su had actually sent the scar-faced girl to get close to Shen and destroy his relationship with Meng Hui. That evening, Shen returned home and found Meng Hui in the kitchen. Before long, the two started flirting, and Shen ended up kissing her. Unfortunately, Meng Hui had forgotten they were still pretending to be siblings. After the kiss, Shen teasingly asked, "Weren't we supposed to be brother and sister?" At that moment, Shen realized Meng Hui had been acting all along. Before she could explain, the scar-faced girl called Shen again and asked him to come see her. At the same time, Director Su informed Meng Hui about the girl's growing closeness with Shen. Naturally, Meng Hui became worried. She went to the company and eventually discovered that the scar-faced girl had indeed been hired. Unfortunately, things got even worse. As Meng Hui was leaving, she suffered a real panic attack. To make matters more painful, she saw Shen and the scar-faced girl together at that exact moment. The combination of stress and jealousy became too much. Right there, Meng Hui collapsed. Not long afterward, Dr. Su and Will rushed her to Dr. Tao. After Meng Hui was taken to Dr. Tao, Shen eventually arrived. However, Meng Hui looked at him and called him her older brother. Then she innocently asked where her sister-in-law was. Naturally, everyone was confused. When Shen tried to take her home, Meng Hui refused and declared that she wanted to go with Dr. Su. Things became even stranger when she confidently announced that Dr. Su was her boyfriend. To everyone's surprise, Dr. Su decided to play along. Afterward, Dr. Su pulled Shen aside and told him to think carefully about why Meng Hui had suffered such a severe panic attack. He warned that if Shen still couldn't understand the reason, perhaps he shouldn't be with her at all. Hearing this immediately made Shen angry. At this point, another flashback appears. We learn that young Dr. Su attended the same school as Shen and Meng Hui and was indirectly connected to the childhood incident. Later, Dr. Su discovered that the little girl involved in that incident was actually Meng Hui herself. The following day, Dr. Su took Meng Hui to an amusement park. Of course, Shen secretly followed them, and Will followed Dr. Su as well. At one point, Dr. Su and Meng Hui got onto a Ferris wheel meant for couples. Not wanting to be left behind, Shen climbed in too. Later, Dr. Su privately told Shen that this was his final chance to understand why Meng Hui had ended up in such a miserable state. Before leaving, Dr. Su bought Meng Hui a souvenir. When Will later visited the same shop, the owner handed him a similar gift and explained that Dr. Su had already paid for it. This made it obvious that Dr. Su knew Will had followed them. Meanwhile, Meng Hui finally confronted Shen about the scar-faced girl. She even asked why he didn't just marry that girl instead. The truth was that Meng Hui had noticed how much Shen had changed since the girl's arrival. That was one of the reasons she started pretending Shen was only her brother. Interestingly, Dr. Su figured out that Meng Hui was acting, but he never told Shen. One evening, Meng Hui, Will, Dr. Tao, and Dr. Su went out drinking together. As soon as Shen and Jiang found out, they showed up too. Unfortunately, the scar-faced girl kept calling Shen. Eventually, he left for a while after reminding Meng Hui not to drink too much. Meanwhile, Meng Hui couldn't stop crying, while Will was also heartbroken because Dr. Su continued ignoring his feelings. After drinking too much, Will started flirting with another guy. Dr. Su absolutely couldn't tolerate that. Without hesitation, he pulled Will close and made it very clear that he wasn't happy seeing him with someone else. A little later, Shen returned and asked where Meng Hui was. Dr. Su pointed him in the right direction. At that moment, a random man was holding Meng Hui's hand and trying to flirt with her. Shen immediately introduced himself as her older brother. The man laughed and replied that this was perfect because he wanted to marry Meng Hui. The moment Shen heard those words, he became furious. In anger, he kicked a nearby rack so hard that everyone was shocked. Seeing his reaction, Meng Hui instinctively grabbed Shen's hand. That single action told Shen everything. He finally realized that Meng Hui had been acting all along. along. On that very day, all the misunderstandings between them were finally resolved. Shen personally took Menghui home and even kissed her afterward. Meanwhile, Shen's father had been secretly investigating the scar-faced girl. It didn't take long for him to discover that she was faking everything just to gain Shen's attention. He immediately ordered a deeper investigation. By this point, Shen and his father had improved their relationship significantly. They even agreed to celebrate Menghui's birthday together. When Menghui's birthday finally arrived, all of Shen's employees attended. Naturally, the scar-faced girl showed up too. During the party, she privately confessed her feelings to Shen. However, Shen immediately rejected her and made it clear that he loved Menghui. The rejection made the girl furious. Consumed by jealousy, she suddenly pushed Menghui into the water. The moment Menghui fell in, both Shen and Dr. Su jumped in to save her. At the same time, Will saw everything and immediately pushed the scar-faced girl into the water as well. And that's when everything was exposed. After falling into the water, Menghui's real scar became visible, while the fake girl's scar completely washed away. It turned out that her scar had been fake all along. The next day, Shen's father handed him a file containing photographs of Menghui from childhood to adulthood. As Shen looked through them, he finally discovered the truth. The little girl he had spent years searching for was actually Menghui. However, Shen's father then asked an important question. What would happen if Menghui learned that Shen was the boy responsible for her scar? Those words stayed in Shen's mind. Later, Shen carefully asked Menghui whether she would forgive that childhood boy if she met him again. Menghui thought for a moment and replied that maybe she could forgive him, but she never wanted him to return to her life. And she smiled and told Shen that it didn't matter because he was already in her life and would always be there. Although her words were comforting, they made Shen feel even more guilty. Not long afterward, Dr. Su handed Shen the same letter once again and admitted that he had known the truth for a long time. However, he intentionally kept it secret because he wanted to know whether Shen truly loved Menghui or was simply acting out of guilt. Eventually, Shen decided he couldn't hide the truth forever. When Menghui arrived, he repeatedly tried to prepare her, asking her to forgive the boy responsible for her scar. However, before Shen could confess, Dr. Su suddenly appeared and claimed that he was actually the boy responsible. Naturally, Menghui was surprised. However, she quickly forgave him. After Dr. Su left, Shen told Menghui that she didn't have to forgive anyone if she didn't want to. But Menghui calmly replied that she didn't want anything to damage the friendship between them. Later, Shen and Menghui visited her mother. The moment Shen saw her, he immediately knelt down. For years, he had carried guilt because of Menghui's scar. Before her mother could ask anything, Shen promised that he would always take care of Menghui. He even said that everything he owned could belong to her if necessary. Seeing how sincere he was, Menghui's mother quickly grew fond of him. At the same time, Shen's father finally accepted reality. After seeing how deeply Shen loved Menghui, he stopped opposing their relationship and accepted her as part of the family. Meanwhile, Shen confronted Director Su and revealed that he knew she was responsible for bringing the fake scar-faced girl into his life. Since he understood everything now, he believed it would be best for her to resign. Hearing this made Director Su furious, and she stormed away. Soon afterward, Shen prepared a surprise proposal for Menghui. The proposal completely caught her off guard. As Shen confessed his love and asked her to marry him, tears filled Menghui's eyes. Of course, she accepted. Not long after that, Shen and Menghui officially got married. Meanwhile, Jiang and Dr. Tao's relationship continued growing, while poor Will still couldn't win Dr. Su's heart. One day, Will and Dr. Su got stranded at a hotel after their car broke down. While Dr. Su was showering, Will accidentally saw messages on his phone and finally learned the truth. The person responsible for Menghui's scar wasn't Dr. Su, it was Shen. Furious, Will confronted Shen and demanded to know why he was still hiding such an important secret. Shen explained that he didn't want to reopen Menghui's old wounds and hurt her again. Even though Will believed she deserved the truth, he couldn't bring himself to tell her after seeing how happy she was with Shen. That same night, Shen and Menghui enjoyed their first night together as a married couple. The next morning, Menghui unexpectedly found the old school bag she had once given to the little boy from her childhood. After asking Dr. Su about it and receiving a confused response, she started connecting the clues herself. Eventually, she realized the truth. The person who had caused her scar all those years ago was Shen. Surprisingly, she said nothing. Instead, she kept the secret because a painful question had begun troubling her. Did Shen truly love her, or was he only staying by her side because he felt guilty? A few days later, Shen, Menghui, Dr. Su, and the employees attended a dinner together. As Shen and Dr. Su became drunk, they accidentally revealed that Shen was responsible for Meng Hui's scar. The following day, Meng Hui privately told Dr. Su that she already knew the truth. She thanked him for everything he had done and said she no longer held any resentment. Meanwhile, Will discovered old gifts in Dr. Su's room and brought them to Shen's office. Among them was a childhood badge that revealed Dr. Su had been connected to the group of boys involved in the incident. After learning this, Shen confronted Dr. Su, and the argument quickly turned into a fight. Later, Dr. Su went to apologize, but Shen admitted he wasn't angry about the accident itself. What hurt him was that his best friend had hidden the truth for so many years. At that moment, Meng Hui overheard part of the conversation and asked Shen a heartbreaking question. Did he really love her, or was everything simply guilt? Outside, Shen tried to explain that he loved her regardless of the scar, but Meng Hui wasn't convinced. She reminded him how he had cared for the scar-faced girl simply because he believed she might be connected to his childhood. Then she confessed something painful. She had wanted to keep the truth hidden forever, but she feared that if she continued pretending, her love would eventually turn into resentment. That night, she suffered another panic attack. The next morning, Shen discovered that Meng Hui had changed again. This time, she believed 10 years had passed and thought it was the year 2030. Panicked, Shen called the office and ordered everyone to remove calendars and anything that could reveal the real date. At work, an event planner accidentally handed wedding documents to Meng Hui. When she noticed the year 2020, Shen quickly lied and claimed they had already been married for 10 years. However, Meng Hui shocked him by saying she wanted a divorce. According to her, there was no place for him in her heart anymore because she believed he had married her out of guilt. No matter how much Shen insisted that he loved her, she refused to believe him. Later, Meng Hui packed her things and planned to move into a hotel. Shen stopped her and brought her to Dr. Su's house instead. After hearing everything, Dr. Tao explained that this version of Meng Hui genuinely wanted a divorce. If Shen wanted her condition to improve, he might have to give her what she wanted. The idea devastated Shen. Their marriage was only 1 month old. Soon, they even met with a lawyer. When the lawyer mentioned that one of them appeared to have a mental disorder, Shen immediately claimed that he was the one with the condition and even pretended to collapse. As a result, Meng Hui decided to postpone the divorce. Later, after learning they had only been married for 1 month, Meng Hui secretly chose to play along with Shen's lie because she wanted to help him recover. Not long afterward, Shen suggested going on a honeymoon. Surprisingly, Meng Hui agreed and even invited Dr. Su, Will, Dr. Tao, and Jiang. The trip ended up helping several couples. Dr. Su and Will finally cleared up many misunderstandings and became much closer. During the vacation, a group of troublemakers started harassing them. In the chaos, a glass bottle flew toward Meng Hui. Without hesitation, Shen stepped in front of her and took the impact himself. Seeing this left everyone shocked. At the same time, Meng Hui had actually encouraged Director Su to pursue Shen because she believed he might eventually move on. But no matter what Director Su did, Shen only cared about Meng Hui. Eventually, Meng Hui told Director Su directly, "Whether it's 10 years ago or 10 years later, Shen only likes me." Later, Dr. Tao again insisted that Meng Hui wouldn't recover unless Shen agreed to the divorce. Desperate for another solution, Shen suggested removing the scar completely. Everyone agreed that only Dr. Smith could help. Unfortunately, Dr. Smith only accepted one surgery each year. Then an unexpected email arrived. Dr. Smith agreed to perform the surgery. The reason was Dr. Su. To secure Meng Hui's operation, he agreed to move to England and work there for 5 years. After learning this, Shen finally reconciled with Dr. Su. Will, however, was heartbroken. Just as their relationship was improving, Dr. Su was preparing to leave. Eventually, the day of Meng Hui's trip arrived, but instead of going to the airport, she stayed behind. Shen found her at the place where they used to spend time as children. Meng Hui admitted that she didn't want the surgery because she loved him and didn't want to leave him. Shen then revealed his deepest feelings. "The scar may be on your face, but for me, it's in my heart. Every time I see it, it hurts." When she still refused, Shen said something shocking, "Then let's get divorced." A few days later, the fake scar-faced girl came to apologize. She confessed that Director Su had manipulated her and revealed something important. Shen never loved her. He had once said that although he could take care of her because of the scar, the only woman he truly loved was Meng Hui. Finally, Meng Hui understood the truth. Shen loved her because she was Meng Hui, not because of the scar. That night, Shen drank far too much. After Dr. Su brought him to Meng Hui's house, Shen repeatedly insisted that she no longer loved him. Meng Hui assured him that she did. Still, Still, Shen demanded proof. Then he finally confessed everything in his heart. "I don't want to divorce you. I can't live without you." When Meng Hui admitted that she still loved him, Shen smiled and immediately passed out. The next morning, Meng Hui announced that she would go to England for the surgery. More importantly, she no longer wanted a divorce. Shen couldn't have been happier. Soon afterward, they decided to get married properly once again. When the wedding day arrived, chaos broke out as usual. Director Su tried causing trouble, Will started arguing again, and Shen's father couldn't even make it to the venue because he got stuck and had to join through a video call. Ironically, all the confusion ended up helping. The shock finally snapped Meng Hui out of her condition. Her disorder was cured. Later, Dr. Su prepared to leave for England. Everyone thought he was going only because of Meng Hui's surgery. Then Will accidentally learned the truth. Dr. Su was also going there for important medical research. At the airport, Dr. Su was surprised when Will suddenly appeared with all his luggage. Without saying much, Will made it clear he was going too. After clearing up all their misunderstandings, the two finally left for England together. 6 months later, Zhang and Dr. Tao were married. Meng Hui's surgery was successful and the scar on her face was completely gone. Everything seemed perfect. Well, almost perfect, because Shen had somehow become stingy again. Even so, Meng Hui didn't mind. Together, they spent their days revisiting all the places where their story had begun. And after overcoming guilt, misunderstandings, panic attacks, family conflicts, fake identities, and countless obstacles, Shen and Meng Hui finally received the happy ending they deserved. And with that, the drama comes to an end.